Hello, in this video we're going to take a look at Pythagoras' theorem. Okay, Pythagoras' theorem. It's a section in trigonometry, or in your books, chapter 33. And why do we use Pythagoras' theorem? We use Pythagoras' theorem to find if a missing side, if there's the side of a triangle that we don't have and we're looking for. Okay, and it's only used in right angle triangles. So here's an example of a triangle that has a missing side. We're missing a side and we're asked to find it. You see here it asks us to find x. And x is, we can see it here, it's this side along here, this longish side along here. Now they've given us the other two sides. We have two sides given to us. We have 4 and we have 3, but we're missing this side. Okay, now this is a perfect example of when you use Pythagoras' theorem. You have two sides. There's 1, there's 2, but you're missing the third, and we're asked to find it. Now, how do we do it? Well, we have the steps written down here to try and show you how to do these questions. Let's take a look. What's the first thing we have to do? The first thing we have to do is we have to label the sides of the triangle with letters. Now 3 letters are used, C, A and B. But which is which? Okay? Which is C, which is A and which is B? So let's see. Well, C is the one that's across from the right angle. Now this little symbol here means right angle. So that's where the right angle is. And C is the side that's across from that. So over here, we're going to write down the letter C, because this is the side C. Now what else? A and B are the other two sides. And it doesn't matter which is which. So I can call this one A and this one B, or I could call this one A and this one B. It doesn't make a difference. I'm going to say that's A and that's B for this question. Okay, I've done step 1 completely. Now step 2, write down Pythagoras' theorem. Now Pythagoras' theorem is in your logbooks, so it's not something that you have to learn off by heart, but it is something that you should probably get into your head. It's c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. That's what the theorem is. So that's that bit done. Now on to step 3. Fill in whatever you can. Okay, in this theorem here that we just wrote down, can we put in anything for these letters that we know of? Well, let's see. What is C? It's x. So I'm going to put in x squared instead. What is A? It's 4, isn't it? So I'm going to put in 4 squared instead of saying A. And what's B? It's 3. So I'm going to put in 3 squared. So I filled in whatever I have that I can fill in. Now step 4, tidy it up using a calculator. So this side over here, I can just type that into the calculator and get an answer. And when I do that, x squared is still going to be there. That's not gone anywhere. 4 squared is 16 and 3 squared is 9. And when you add the two of those together, you'll get 25. Okay, I've tidied it up. Okay, that's me tidying it up here. These two lines. Now the last thing I do is I need to do the square root. Now what does that mean? Well, you see this little squared here? I don't want that there anymore. I want to bring that over to this side so that x will be completely on its own. But when you move a squared over to the other side, it'll come over here, it's going to change into a square root. And hence the reason why step 5 is just called square root. And when I type that into my calculator, I get 5. And that's my answer. Okay. A lot going on there. We'll need to do another one just to make sure that we're getting this. Okay, here's another one. And we have the steps here to help us. Step 1, label the sides of the triangle. Okay, what's first? Well, C is the one across from the right angle. So there's your right angle. So over here, that's C. And then the other two sides don't matter. A, B, or I could have called this one A and this one B. It didn't make a difference. Step 1 is done. Now, step 2, write down Pythagoras' theorem. Pythagoras' theorem is C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Okay, step 3, fill in what I can. What's C? C is X, so I'm going to put in X. A is 8, so I'm going to put in 8. B is 6, so I'm going to put in 6. I'm not going to forget, by the way, my little squares. They're still there. They don't change. They're still there. Now, what's next? Tidy up using a calculator. Okay, X squared is equal to... I could just type the whole thing into the calculator at the same time if I wanted. And if I did, I'd get 100. Okay, now step 5, square root. Can you remember? I need to bring this over to the other side. It needs to come over here. So if I do that, I'll end up with X is equal to the square root of 100. Which means X is equal to 10. And there's my answer for that one. Well done. Now, here's a couple of examples when we're missing A or B. Because you notice the two that I just did, this one here, what side was I missing? This side. I was missing C. And on the previous one, what side was I missing? This side. C. What if you were missing A or B? Okay. What if it was one of these I was missing? So let's try one of these because you have to do a slightly different way. So here's an example. I'm missing a side, this one here. And let's see which one it is when I label it. So my first step, still the same first step, label the sides of the triangle. Okay, across from the right angle is C. And then the other two sides don't matter. A, B. Okay. Now you notice that this time I have C. I know what C is. I'm missing A. So I still continue using the same steps. Write down Pythagoras' theorem. Okay, C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Fill in whatever I can. So what can I fill in? Well, C is 5. So 5 squared is equal to X squared plus 1 squared. Okay. Now, tidy up using a calculator. Okay, so 5 squared is 25. X squared is still just X squared. And 1 squared is 1. Okay, now what's different? This is the little different step here. This is the difference between the ones we did a moment ago and this one. Get the missing side on its own. So at the minute, this is the bit that I'm missing. I need to get that on its own. Now, how do I get it on its own? By moving this number, moving that over to the other side so that my X will be on its own. Now, if I do that, I'll end up with 25 minus 1. You see, it was a plus 1, and if I move it, it becomes a minus 1. Now look, the X squared is on its own. Okay? Now just tidy that up. So 25 take away 1 is 24. And it's still the same. We end up with doing the square root. So bring that power of 2 over to the other side, and we'll end up with a square root of 24. And that is my answer. Because when I type square root of 24 into the calculator, I get a list of decimals. So I'll just leave it as the square root of 24. Okay. Now, I want you to try some of these. I'm going to skip that one, and I'm going to move straight on to the ones for homework in the OneNote. So I'm going to do 2 at a time. So the steps are on the right hand side. In all of these ones, it is where we're missing either A or B. So it was that previous one we did just a moment ago. The very last example we did is how you do these ones. The steps are here. You can pause the video right now and try and do those two questions using these steps. When you've tried them and you've gotten some sort of an answer, press play on the video and I will correct them and you can see how you got on. And then in a moment after that, we'll try two more. Okay, give them a go. Okay, hopefully you did those. Now I'm going to keep going and I'm going to show you the corrections of this. Hopefully you gave them a go yourself. Okay, let's look at question 1 to start and see if we'll follow the first step. Label the sides of the triangle. Okay, here's my right angle. So this over here is C and the other two sides are A and B. Okay, step 2, write down Pythagoras' theorem. C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Okay, step 3, fill in whatever I can. Let's see, C is what? It's 100, so 100 is going to go here. A is what? It is 29, so 29 squared is going to go there. B is what? It is X, so X is going to go there. Okay, that's that done. Now step 4, tidy up using a calculator. Okay, 100 squared is 10,000. 29 squared is 841. These are big numbers. Okay, get the missing side on its own. So here's the missing side. Get that on its own. So I need to move this 841 over to the other side. Okay, so that the X will be on its own. Okay, so that will be 10,000 is still here, minus 841 equals X squared. So the X squared is on its own now. Now tidy it up a little bit more. This bit here can tidy down to 9,159 equals X squared. Okay, and now the last step. The square root. So we got to bring that squared over to the other side. It'll be the square root of 9159 equals X. Now that's enough for your answer. If you wanted to get the, I think when you type that into the calculator, you get 95.7. Okay, so you could either have left your answer as that is fine or that there is fine too. Okay, so that's question 1 done. Now let's try question 2. And question 2. Let's start by labeling the sides of the triangle. So we have C over here and we have A and B, or B and A. It doesn't make a difference. Let's put down the theorem. C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Okay, let's fill in what I can. So C is 203. So 203 squared is equal to A. What's A? It's 88. So 88 squared. Plus B, what's B? It's X, so X squared. Tidy up on the calculator. So there's a lot of big numbers here, isn't it? 203 squared is 41,209. 88 squared is 7,744. And of course, X squared is still just X squared. Okay, now we got to get the missing side. Here's our missing side. Get that on its own. So to get it on its own, I'm going to need to move this number here over to this side. So it'll be 41,209, yeah, you guessed it, minus 7,744. And the X squared is still there. And when you type that into the calculator, when you tidy that bit up, you will end up with 33,465. And now last step is bring that square root, bring that power of 2 over and it'll change to a square root. So the answer is the square root of 33,465. Now you could also press equals on that and change that to 182.93. But that's enough for the answer. When you get messy long answers after doing square root, just leave it as the square root. Okay, now there's 2 more for you to try, 3 and 4. Give those a go in your own time and I'll press play and the answers will be there for you to look at. Okay, there's the answers to questions 3 and to 4. So maybe pause the video now and just go through that yourself. I can't really go through it. I don't have the time because I can only make these 15-minute videos. So I hope you did well and watch the next